I think it was far worse than I thought it was because he worked every day. He went to work every day and came home and, I didn't see a lot. He was pretty high functioning drug addict too. He could do his job. He seemed, pretty good most of the time. So it was really hard for me to tell sometimes. He was living with me and my little, his son was there and I was watching something on TV and River was playing in the room and Mark had gone in the bathroom and it just seemed like there was an awful lot of time went by and he hadn't come out. So I knocked on the door and he didn't answer me. So I had the little key thing. I popped in there and he was on the floor. And so I had to do rescue breathing for him because he wasn't breathing. That was, I think, when I insisted that he had to go somewhere. So he wound up going, I think after that, sometime he went to Brighton for a while. I thought maybe that was the key. He was there for a couple weeks or more, I think. And, but he just never really got to where he could survive without it. It was just, that's what it was. And, I never gave up on him. I always figured there was something there, something somewhere that was going to get him through this so that he could live sober. But I kept my hope up and I didn't give up on him, but it got pretty frustrating after a while. You get angry and it's hard to deal with it a lot of times, but I just didn't give up, I guess.
The big thing was my goal of trying to get away with this addiction thing that I had was to make it a point to try to hide it as much as possible.
They always say you have to be ready and all that, but I still think that, he needed the push because he would say to me when he was messed up, he'd say, I can't live any other way. I don't know how to live any other way. And I couldn't imagine that. I couldn't imagine how you couldn't want to change that. But now I know, but earlier on, it was like, what do you mean? And he'd say, such a small percentage of people succeed with getting off of this kind of stuff.
Were you just going to treatment all those times just to, get people off your back? Were you ever doing it for you?
I think I was pretty delusional on that. I believed that I really was, but at the same time, I was either in trouble with the law or I was.
Your mom didn't give you the alternative. A lot of times
right.
I said, you have to go.
Right.
Whatever you got to do, you have to get some help.
Yeah, I think I just didn't have anywhere else to go. At that point, I was just out of options.
Well, and he also called me. He kept telling me he wanted to come back and get on Suboxone and do that routine again. Well, he'd been down that road before and that was never successful. So, I had asked him about Guiding Light.
I didn't know if I wanted to give up that much stuff in my own life yet, I think I kind of had to get through the door of Guiding Light to realize that this is what I needed. And it was kind of like I got that little bit of a push from my family that was like, whatever you got to do to get sober, you got to do it. And that kind of is when it switched. I mean, if I'm 100% honest, I think when I first stepped in the door of Guiding Light, I wasn't there 100% for myself. I think that changed within the first couple of weeks. By the time I was through Foundations, the 4 months, I was a completely different person. I had let go of everything else in my old life. I had no attachments, and I just created this whole new identity in Grand Rapids.
I'm thrilled that he's where he's at. That's for sure. It's a blessing because he was either going to get in a car accident or he was going to wind up in prison, one or the other. It was inevitable. And so I couldn't be happier with it all. I think it's just, I'm thrilled that he's where he's at.
Do you think Guiding Light saved his life?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Can't thank you enough because I think that's what makes it the program that it is. Most of these guys come there, they can't afford big payments for recovery. So without donors, this these guys that have to be trying to come up with money to do it themselves. And, you know, we know that anybody that's been around drug addiction or alcohol addiction, you don't have the money. The money is gone for your habit. And so without people donating, you wouldn't have a program like that. And I think it's like 1 in a million. I can't even imagine anywhere that you can get that kind of treatment and that kind of care for no cost to the guys going. I mean, I think it's phenomenal. And I say it'll always be a part of my donating. Even whatever I can give, I give, and I will never stop, no matter at what point, you know, till I die maybe. But I'm not planning to stop, because I know what it's done for him, and I know that it can do that for many others. So.